Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to today's event, Unique Device, eBooks, and audiobooks. My name is Jose, and I'm a librarian here at LA County Library. And with me is my colleague. I'll let her introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ana Silvia Torres, and I'm a librarian with our Adult and Digital Services team.
Once again, we want to welcome you to today's event. As a quick reminder, all mics and videos will be disabled for participants for the duration of the event. That, however, does not mean this is not an interactive presentation. If you have any questions for myself or my co-presenter, Ana Silvia, please go ahead and place those in the Q&A at the bottom of the screen. If you have any comments for us, go ahead and please place those in the chat. And while we're talking about comments, why don't you go ahead and place in the chat what you hope to get from today's event? And I hope you enjoyed the John Coltrane they were playing at the beginning of the event. That is actually streaming from our Freego Music service, which is a free streaming site available through LA County Library. And we'll be talking about that in one of our follow-up programs at the end of the month. But today, we're here to talk about ebooks and audiobooks. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen once again, and we'll get started with the event for the day. So ebooks and audiobooks are available for free through our library service, and you can access them from any smartphone, tablet, or computer. I like to refer to this as a 24/7 library. So it doesn't matter if your local library is closed, if it's a holiday, or if it's 2 o'clock in the morning, you're able to access ebooks, audiobooks, and magazines through some of our great services. During today's program, we hope to have you identify the library resources to access our ebooks, audiobooks, and magazines. And hopefully by the end, you'll be comfortable enough to use your personal devices to access all these great resources available through LA County Library. Today, we'll be covering what do you need to access these great resources, and then we'll be diving into a few of the resources that we offer here at LA County Library, including Libby Overdrive, Hoopla, Biblioboard eBooks, and then at the end, we'll be getting into that Q&A. So if you have any questions, once again, place those in the Q&A in the section at the bottom of the screen. And to note that captioning has also been enabled for this presentation. So at the bottom of the screen, you should be able to see closed caption, and Zoom does a great job of captioning our events. So what do you need to access our great resources? Well, of course, you need your LA County Library card. And there you see a screen of a picture of all the different cards we've issued throughout our history. If you have one of those black ones right at the bottom right-hand side, you've been a customer of ours for a fairly long time. If you have one of those purple and green ones up top, you either recently joined or had one of your other cards replaced. Now, if you do not have an LA County Library card, we encourage you to go to one of our 86 locations to get a library card. If, however, we're facing a gloomy day like we are today, or you simply can't make it out to one of our locations because it is 2 o'clock in the morning, we encourage you to get a digital card through lacountylibrary.org, and Ana Silvia will be placing in the chat the link you need to get one of those digital cards. With one of those digital cards, you are able to take advantage of all our electronic resources and able to check out 3 physical items. We do encourage you to then go to one of our locations and upgrade to one of those full library cards to fully take advantage of all the services we offer here at LA County Library, including upping the number of physical items you can check out. And in addition to that, being able to check out one of our Chromebooks or laptops, and take advantage of our Discover and Go program, which is free museum passes to select LA County Library, LA County museums throughout the county. So once you have your library card, you'll need your PIN, and that's a 4-digit number. If you do not know your PIN or cannot remember your PIN, you could always call your local library. You could also email reference services or connect with one of our instant librarians, and they will help you locate and replace your PIN. And of course, since we're talking about electronic resources today, you'll need a computer or device with reliable internet access. So now that we know what it is that you need to access these resources, let's get into these actual resources. So first, we'll talk about Libby Overdrive. And Overdrive is our largest provider of electronic resources, both ebooks, audiobooks, magazines, and video titles, which we'll be discussing at the end of the month in our third webinar. Now, Libby is the app for Overdrive. Libby is a way you access the Overdrive collection. Previously, Overdrive did have an Overdrive app, but that app is being sunsetted and will no longer be available at the end of April. So if you currently use the Overdrive app, I do encourage you to migrate over to Libby so you can start using all the great resources in Libby. Now, Overdrive is working very hard to mirror the majority of the features in the Overdrive app to be mirrored in Libby. And so new features are being added regularly, and your feedback is important. So if you are an Overdrive app user, and are now switching over to Libby, and there's a feature that you don't necessarily see or haven't quite figured out, please let me know, and I will be sure to contact our team at Overdrive and see what could be done. Now, if you are a new user, Libby is the exclusive way to access Overdrive on your mobile device or tablet. Now, the Overdrive Libby collection has thousands of items, and you'll be able to see a little bit of that later on. And whatever is on our Overdrive app is available through Libby. Libby is just your gateway into Overdrive. And eBooks and audiobooks and magazines all expire at the end of the lending period, so there's no need to remember to return your items. But we do suggest you do that if you finish a book early. So how do you access Libby on your computer or on your mobile device? Well, you would download the Libby app. If you're an iOS Apple user, of course, you would go to the Apple App Store. If you're an Android user, and that's your Samsungs, your Pixels, your Motorola, your Plus Ones, those you would get through the Google Play Store. If you're a Windows device user, like a tablet, like a Windows Surface tablet, you'll go to the Windows app. Now, currently, the Libby app is not available on the Kindle App Store, but you are able to add Libby to Kindle, but you will need to go to the Overdrive website. If you need further instructions on how to do that, there's a few extra steps you need to take. Please go ahead and contact me. We will be including our emails in a follow-up email tomorrow. We'll be happy to help you get Libby onto your Kindle device. Once you download the Libby app, you'll search for LA County Library, as you can see on that picture on the right-hand side. You will then type in your library card and your PIN, and you're able to browse the collection. So how does Libby work? You see on the right-hand side there a quick view of Libby. Items in Libby can be borrowed for 7, 14, or 21 days. And I do suggest you change your loan period to 21 days. As you saw on the previous slide, items automatically return. So if there's an item that you have that has an extended hold list, at the end of that period, it will return back and will go on to the next customer. So to ensure that you maximize the time you have your item, please set that loan period to 21 days, and I'll show you how to do that in just a moment. But we do encourage you that if you do have a book checked out for 21 days and you finish it a little bit early, go ahead and return it early so we could extend that privilege to the next customer, as those hold lists can get fairly large. You are able to borrow up to 15 items at a time. This is not time sensitive, so it's just 15 items at any one time. After 15 items, you won't be able to check anything out until you return one of those items. One of those items expire due to its due date. You're also able to place up to 15 items on hold. Again, not time sensitive, just when there's 15 items, you're unable to place another item on hold until you check out one of those books on hold or you remove one of those holds from your list. You are able to read and listen to items directly on the app. Now, listening is important because you could only listen inside of the Libby app. You're able to download the item and listen to it offline, but you're unable to remove the item from Libby and move it to a different app or burn it onto a CD. You will listen exclusively through the Libby app, which is a little bit different from our Overdrive app. Now, reading, you are able to read directly on the Libby app, and for many of the titles, you are able to send those to your Kindle app or tablet. There are about 70,000 titles that are Kindle compatible. And so if you prefer reading in your Kindle, you are able to send those items to your Kindle. And again, we'll show you how to do that in just a little bit. Libby also creates tags and smart tags. So what are a tag and a smart tag? Well, think of tags as list. And Libby automatically creates some lists for you as items that you've placed on hold, items that you've checked out. So these will be automatically added to that tag or that list. Now you are able to create your own tag, your own list. And I suggest you do this. I do this myself for items on hold. Sometimes I hit that 15 item threshold and there's 3 or 4 other items that I really, really want to add to holds. I don't want to forget that I want to place this item on hold. So I add them to my to be added to my holds list tag. And that way I could hit that tag when I know I have some room and move those over to those hold lists. Now it's also smart tags, and smart tags do a little bit more than just create lists. One great example is for magazines. If you check out a magazine, you're able to smart tag that magazine, and every time there's a new issue, Libby will alert you that the new issue is available, so you're able to access it as soon as it becomes available. You're also able to smart tag authors and series. So if an author puts out a new book and we purchase it, Libby will inform you that LA County Library has purchased a new item by this author, and you're able to add it to either your holds list or to check out. Same thing with the series. So if you're a big fan of a specific series, you could tag that series, smart tag that series, and you'll be notified when LA County Library acquires that new series title. And again, those automatic returns, so you don't need to remember to return them. But we do encourage you to return your items a little bit early, especially on those items that have those long holds, so we could move those along and move the holds to the next customer. And here we have a couple of links that would be of great use to you. Overdrive support, Overdrive Desktop. Overdrive Desktop is the way you access it through your computer or laptop, and nothing is changing there. That would always be available for you. So you're able to check out items on the desktop, and any item that is connected, any device that's connected to your library card number will receive that copy. So if you check out an item on the desktop, and you prefer reading on your listening on your phone, the item will be on your phone. You'll be able to download it and be able to listen. It's important to note that on the website, you're only able to stream now. You won't be able to download audiobooks and listen offline. So if you're interested in listening offline, you will need to do that on the Libby app, either on your tablet or your mobile device. And Libby app is available as a desktop as well, but I do encourage you to use the website when you're on desktop. But I will be showing you how Libby works when through the desktop version. And of course, there's that link there to get your digital card. It'll give you access to our digital platforms and limited number of physical items. So now we'll go ahead and jump over to the Libby app, and you could see briefly how Libby works. So once you're in the Libby app, the first time you download it, you'll be greeted with a screen very similar to this one. We'll ask you if you have a library card, and your answer is going to be yes, because you either have your library card or you got a digital one. Once here, you're going to want to search for a library. And you simply put in LA County Library. And you'll see here, this is our main headquarters. And down here, you see 88 branches. Because we are such a large system, we share our overdrive with all our 88 different branches. And so you don't need to look for the specific branch that you frequent. You could just choose this main LA County Library. Once here, you'll have the option of either signing in with my card or I would like a card. I would like a card creates a different account for you inside of Libby, and it lives inside the Libby ecosystem. This is connected to your mobile phone number. If you get one of these cards, it is difficult for LA County Library staff members to look at your account and see if there's anything amiss. So we do encourage you to always sign in with my library card. There are occasions when Libby goes down for maintenance, and people tend to sign in sometimes with their phone number, not knowing again that they create 2 separate accounts. So if you are unable to log in at any time, please let us know via either chat or calling one of your local libraries, and we'll try to correct the problem so you're able to continue signing in with your library card number. So let's go ahead and sign in with my library card number here. And here we are. So as you can see here, it shows me how many loans I have and how many holds I have. So even though I've used this card on a different device, it recognizes the items I have on checked out and the items I have on hold. You're able to rename your card, and that will be important in just a little bit. But for now, we'll go ahead and click Next. Here, it gives you the option of saying, yes, I read with Kindle, or skip. I suggest you hit skip, as you're able to then later on send items specifically to Kindle. So if you don't have your Kindle available at the moment, but you want to start reading on your phone, you're able to start reading on your phone and then later on send it over to your Kindle and continue your reading. So we'll hit skip. Now here we are on our main site, and you're able to see here some of the curated lists. Some of these lists are created by our staff, while others are created by members of Overdrive. These guides are frequently updated, so I do suggest you explore these to find some titles. And here you find some additional features or additional services that Overdrive offers, including Canopy and Universal Class. Canopy is that video service that I mentioned at the beginning, and we'll be covering that in detail on the 31st of January, so please join us for that presentation. And again, you see many of these curated lists. Now here you see It's Your Lucky Day. It's Your Lucky Day is a special curated list by our collection development team, and they place books on here that have extensive holds lists, and they show up periodically, but you're only able to check them out for 7 days, which is a very short amount of time. So if you feel that you get through one of these popular titles in 7 days, I encourage you to browse this Lucky Day collection. As you can see, we have over 870 titles currently. But if you're a slower reader like myself who needs 2.5 weeks to get through a book, maybe skip this collection and just place a regular hold on that very popular title. Now, I do take advantage of this 7-day collection, this Lucky Day collection, when perhaps a book I ran out of time because I didn't start the book right when my 21-day period started, and I ran out of time and it returned itself, because it does return itself to the minute of you when you checked out a book. So if you check out a book at 4:21 on today, it will return itself in 3 weeks at 4:21 p.m. It's to the dot. It is pretty incredible. So if you ran out of time and you've only had a couple 100 pages, 50 pages to go, and you only need an extra day, and you see it on a Lucky Day, go ahead and hit that Lucky Day collection, check it out for those 7 days. Otherwise, I suggest you do skip and just place a regular hold. Now, I do want to now draw your attention to this bottom portion of the screen here. And this is where you're going to navigate to the different parts of Libby. I will go ahead and start on our far right with this clock here. Now here, this is your timeline. And these are books that you've either browsed or checked out. And it is important to note that timelines are specific to the device that you are using. So my timeline on this device will differ from the timeline on my phone and different from a timeline on, say, if I have a tablet, because I do different activities on each device. If you want a complete list of your history, you would go to the Overdrive website on the desktop, and there you're able to see the extensive list of your entire history. I believe Libby is trying to figure out and make it all, synchronous for all devices, but currently it is specific to each device. You are able to export your timeline and add it to different devices. But again, if you want that full list, I do suggest you use the desktop app, desktop website, I apologize. Next, we have this book here. And here's where you're going to be able to check out and see your shelf. And on your shelf, you see your loans. So you see the 5 items I currently have checked out. As you can see, I'm a kind of a music guy. I like, Dave Grohl and some Good Vibrations and some Dolly Parton there. You're also able to see those holds that I have out on here. And I do want to read the new book by Prince Harry. So the Spanish version had a smaller hold list I got on that. And here we have those tags. On this here, since this device I've only recently started using, I'm able to see here my borrow tag. And there's that smart tag there for the items that I might be able to do a little bit more than just create a list. So here, as you can tell, these are items that I've checked out. If I click on this book here, as you can tell here in the middle, the good vibration, I'm able to here either read in Libby, or I could send it over to my Kindle device. So even if you start reading in Libby, you can always go back to your shelf and redirect the title to Kindle. So always know that you have that option. And as I mentioned, when you are doing audiobooks, the audiobooks are only inside of Libby. You could only stream on desktop and on the app. You cannot export the file to a different app. You must listen inside of Libby. So next, I want to do this little thing here that I call the hamburger. And here, this is your central Libby. This is your home page for Libby. And here you're able to scroll down and play with your settings a little bit. You might want to explore there how you get notified. So able to manage your notifications, whether you want to have push notifications. I do have push notifications enabled on mine. So when an item that I place on hold becomes available, I get that little pop-up on my phone, lets me know it's available, and I could jump on there, and I'm able to then place, check out that item. What's great about Libby, if an item becomes available to you, you have 72 hours to check it out once it moves from your hold. If you do not check it out in those 72 hours, you go back on the holds list, and a week later, you get an additional 72 hours to check out that title. And if in those 72 hours you do not check it out, the item drops from your holds list, and then you would have to rejoin the holds list and you'll be placed at the bottom of the list. One of the great features that Libby does offer you is the ability to put off or suspend your hold. So say I get a book that I've been waiting. So let's go out to my hold list here really quickly. Let's go back here to our shelf. Go back to our holds. So say this book here is now, 2 weeks away. I could suspend my hold and say, you know what, I'm not ready to read this book yet. I want to put it off for a certain amount of time. I'm able to go here and I will move it. You could move it up to 30 days and then it jumps to 180 days. I don't know why, but it does do that. So here, what ends up happening is if on day 7, I get to the front of the list, but I've suspended it for 21 days, it kind of holds my place in line. And then when day 21 arrives, it jumps me to the front of the line. So it's a great way that if you're not yet able to wait to read the book, you're able to suspend the hold. You're also able to suspend the hold when you get that 72-day notice. You get that notice and say, this book is now available for you. You could jump onto that manage my hold and move that bar and push it off a week, 2 weeks, a month, and it places you on that suspended one position. And then after that time, it becomes available for you. So that's a great way, and I use that a lot when I'm not quite done with one book and another book becomes available. So I do suggest you use that. And that's a great thing about those push notifications. You know instantly when a book becomes available to you, and you could either check it out or you could push it off for a week or a couple weeks. Next here, you'll see here manage cards and add library. So remember at the beginning of my presentation, I did say that the changing the name would become important, and this is where it becomes important. So as a manager of here, you could add additional cards. And so if you're a parent or a caretaker, you could add the cards of your children or the people you take care of, and you're able to see the items that they've checked out and seeing the items that they have on hold. You're also able to place item on hold for them and check out items for them. And again, if that same library card lives on a different device, that hold or that loan will show up on that other device. So it's a great way to manage um, items that are by people that you either your children or people that you take care of. Another great feature is this add a library here. So currently I have my LA County library card attached to this Libby account, but many of us have cards from different systems. I live in Long Beach and I have my Long Beach City Library card, so I'm able to add the Long Beach account to the same Libby account. And what's great about that is that I now have both collections available to me simultaneously. So if I'm looking for a specific title, I'm searching not only LA County Library, but I'm also searching Long Beach Public. And I could see if the book is available on both locations, so I could maybe check it out if it's available in one and not the other, or I could place it on hold on one or both places. And then you kind of move up the list a little bit longer because you're on hold on two different systems. So I do encourage you, if you have an LA County Library, Long Beach Public Library, Los Angeles City Library card, go ahead and add all those accounts to that same Libby account so that you're able to simultaneously search across all collections. Now here, this is your actual library. And this is that first page that we saw when we first logged into Libby. And here you could see, again, all those curated lists. Now, once you're ready to search, you hit the little spyglass. And here you're able to see how you're able to filter. So as I mentioned, we have about 117,000 different titles available for you to check out. And about 70,000 of those are specific to Kindle. Here's that skip deadline, the Lucky Day collection that you're able to tell because it has that little 4-leaf clover. I frequently use this available now feature if I'm looking to read something right now because perhaps all of the books that I want to read are on hold, but I need something right now. That available now will pull up all the books that you could currently check out. So let's do a quick search here. Let's look up here, The Invisible Life at Addie LaRue, which is a great title of last year. And as you can see here, it is available for Lucky Day, but I don't want Lucky Day, and I do like audiobooks, so I'm gonna go ahead and place on hold. It tells me here that my holds will be for about 2 weeks. We have 56 copies of the title. 36 people are currently waiting, which means there's less than one person waiting per copy. So my hold is going to be fairly short. So I'll go ahead and place that title on hold. Now heading back, I do want to check out something that's currently available, but I also want it to be a Kindle because I like reading on my Kindle. So we'll go ahead and hit on Kindle here. And again, we'll see all those items that are on Kindle. When you see that little hour, that little clock, that means the item must be placed on hold as it is not currently available. If you see that little plus, that means that item is available for checkout. Now, within Kindle here, we have about 70,000, but we're also able to just look for stuff that is available. So once again, you click here on availability, you change to available now, apply that filter, and all the items that are here are available to check out. As you can see, we have that little plus. We get a lot of different titles, a lot of kids titles. We do have a lot of very popular kids titles. So let's go ahead and check this book out here. So we're going to borrow. Here it says borrow for 14 days. But remember, you want to do that 21-day period just in case you need a little bit longer time. So you go ahead and click on the 14 days. And here you're again able to do either 21 or 7. And what's great is once you change to 21 days, Libby will remember that that's what you prefer and it'll default to 21 days, but always double check just in case. And let's go ahead and go to shelf. And here on Go to Shelf, I see here Read With. So if I click there, this is again where I'm able to decide if I want to read this book in the Libby app or if I want to read in Kindle. If I want to read in Kindle, I'll go ahead and click on Kindle, and that will redirect me to the Amazon homepage. You will simply log in with your email address and password that you do for all your other Amazon purchases or services. Click sign in, and it will send it to your various different Kindle applications. And again, here we have all our different holds. And that concludes this view of the Libby app. I will now pass it along to Anna Sylvia, who will talk about Hoopla and BiblioBoard.
All right, so now we will be talking about Hoopla Digital. And I am starting to think of Hoopla sort of like as a one-stop shop. It's a mobile library, media, and streaming platform, and it has TV shows, magazines, eBooks, audiobooks, and comics. For today's presentations, we will only be covering eBooks, audiobooks, magazines, and comics, but definitely stay tuned for the other material later on this month. And within all of those categories, there are thousands of items in the collection, so there is definitely something for everyone on Hoopla. How to access it. So you'll want to download the Hoopla digital app on your iOS, Android, or Kindle Fire devices. For those of you who prefer to log in and use it on the computer, you're able to do so by logging into hoopladigital.com. And we will be sharing all the links that we talk about. So don't worry about needing to copy any of this down. You'll get all of this information. Once you're on the Hoopla Digital website or app, you'll need to create your account, and you will need your library card number, your PIN, and your email address. And then once you create your account to log into Hoopla, you'll log in with your email address and the password that you created when you created your initial account. So how does Hoopla work? So items are accessed directly on the app or the site. So unlike Libby Overdrive, where you have the option of sending files to your Kindle devices, your Kindle app, everything is directly on the app or the site. On the mobile app, you do have the option of downloading items, but those are still only accessible within the mobile app. You have 8 items per month, so 8 credits. And those credits don't carry over to the next month. So you get 8 per month, then those reset at the beginning. So for example, if you have 2 leftover credits for the month of January, you won't have 10 credits for February. You'll just have those 8 months that are 8 credits that are reset at the beginning of the month. And the lending period for eBooks, audiobooks, and comics is 21 days. And those are automatically returned after the lending period. So no need to worry about manually returning anything. It will automatically do so after that 21-day period. One of the benefits of Hoopla are that the items on there are always available. So unlike Libby, where sometimes items have really extensive holds and you sometimes have to wait a really long time for popular items in particular, Hoopla doesn't have any of that. So if you see something that you like, you can borrow it and access it right away. Another plus that Hoopla has is binge passes. So binge passes will equal a single borrow for unlimited access to a collection. Right now, Hoopla has about 8 collections that you can view or read, and those equal one of your 8 credits, but you have access to 10 items or 20 plus items. However many items are within that collection, you can access it by just using one of your 8 credits. And I'll be showing you how to do that momentarily. And there is also a kids mode available on Hoopla. So if your child is using Hoopla, or if you share your account with your child, then there is a way that you can set up parental settings so that you can ensure that the content that your child is viewing is age appropriate. And those are some of the links that we have for you. We have the Hoopla support page in case you need any assistance while you're using the service. And there is that website link again that I mentioned, which we will be sharing with you so that you can log in and get started on your account. So now I would like to show you how you can access Hoopla and all of the different content that's available to you. So you should all now be seeing Hoopla. And I'm already logged in. So this is what it looks like when you're logged in. You have your layout, and you have this running banner that Hoopla has here for you, just kind of displaying some of their content. Like I mentioned, they have TV shows and music and a lot more items than just books. And here are your credits. So I have 5 more titles that I can borrow this month. And then here are my borrowed items. As you can see, I'm into crafty things, so I did a lot of that during the holidays. So a lot of my borrows reflect that. And then under that, I have recommended titles. So anything that Hoopla thinks I might be interested, it recommends those titles for me. And then Hoopla doesn't have a wish list like Libby does. So what I like to do is I like to favorite items or for titles so that if I'm not ready to borrow it right away or I don't have enough credits for the month, I can save it and then I can come back to it at a later time. Then we have some of those binge passes that it likes to highlight here. So binge passes for children. These are some of the collections that I mentioned. Popular eBooks. And then some of those audiobooks. Again, the great thing about all of these is that you can instantly borrow them. And then Hoopla likes to kind of have curated collections that are surrounded with pop culture or the holidays. So the Grammys are coming up. So if you were to click on this collection, you would see some of those nominees. And then Valentine's, so some of those movies. And then comics. So you have Big Nate. I remember when I was a teen librarian, Big Nate was really popular. So if you know a preteen or a teen that likes Big Nate, let them know about Hoopla. Now I would like to show you those binge passes that I mentioned earlier. So to access it, you want to go up to the main menu and you want to select Browse. And under the drop-down menu, you'll go all the way to the very last item, binge passes. And it has 8 binge pass collections. So as I mentioned, this is one single borrow and you have access to all of the items within these collections. And you have the binge pass for 7 days. So here's Curiosity Stream Binge Pass. And this is a streaming service that has educational content. So if you'd like to borrow it, you just click borrow. And then that pop-up window will appear and it'll let you know for how long you have the title for. And once you're ready to borrow, you can just select borrow. And you're able to stream for 7 days. And again, that's just one of your credits. Now I want to show you how you can access kids mode. So we'll go back to the main page and it's very simple. Right up at the very top, you have kids. And to enable kids mode, you just simply click on off. And now you've enabled kids mode. So it changes a little bit. The titles that are recommended change, the sort of featured collections change, the popular ebooks and audiobooks, all of that changes to display titles that are what kids are reading, what kids are interested in. So that's how you would set that up. And then to go back to the regular Hoopla page, adult settings, you simply click on and you're back to the main Hoopla page where you have your titles and all of the different content that's available in the adult settings. Now I want to show you how to browse for items. So you have the search, just the basic search. If you'd like to search for a title or a genre or kind of anything that you're interested in, you can just simply type that in. And then you can filter your searches by selecting the drop-down menu, and you can select by, filter your searches by audiobooks, comics, or ebooks. So that's one option that you have to browse. Another option is to simply select browse. And if you're not sure what you want, or you just kind of want to see what's available to you, then you can select browse and then go to audiobooks, comics, or ebooks, and it will show you different ebooks titles that you're able to browse. So it has, again, those popular items, featured items. You're able to browse by genre and collections. Again, more recommended titles, and then just added content as well. And that's how you can browse through the different collections. And then if you kind of want to see what you have, you can select My Hoopla from the top, and you can see what you currently have borrowed. You can check out your favorites as well as your history. Now, Hoopla does keep you signed in. So I do recommend that if you are using another person's device or on a public computer, then you might want to sign out. So if you can click on this setting icon right up here at the very far right, and then you want to click sign out, log out. And then to log back in, you just click login, and you remember that you log in with your email and your password. And now I'm going to go back to our PowerPoint so I can talk about our very last service, and that is BiblioBoard. So BiblioBoard is a multimedia web-based platform that features eBooks and local community collections. It also features self-published authors and top indie eBooks. I also want to mention that if you are an author and you self-publish your work, then BiblioBoard allows indie authors to publish their own work. We won't be covering that in this webinar for today, but I did want to mention that in case that's something that is of interest to you. How to access it. So you want to download the BiblioBoard app on your iOS, Android, or Kindle device. You can access it on any web browser. Once you're in, you can create a profile so that you can save your content, and then you're able to browse the collection. So how does it work? So items are accessed on the platform. However, you do have the option of downloading eBooks to your device. Another plus of BiblioBoard is that it doesn't have any holds. So if you see something that you like, you can instantly borrow it and start reading it. You're able to search for different titles. So if you are someone who likes indie books and self-published authors, then browse and see if they're on BiblioBoard. And in addition to eBooks, we also have anthologies, and we have some of those displayed on the slide. So anthologies are interactive works. We have some of those that we have with our communities. So we have our Safer at Home one, just as an example. Back when we were all stuck at home, we asked our community to upload stories of what you are all doing when we were at home. And so we have that anthology, as well as our bookmark contest and more. So those are interactive, and you're able to browse them as well as contribute to them. And then we also have local indie authors. So if that's something that's important to you, if you like checking out local indie authors and supporting their work, then definitely check out BiblioBoard. And then we have those links for you. So we have the website that you're able to log in and browse and see what we have. And then we have the support page in case you need any assistance while you're using BiblioBoard. And that wraps up our presentation today. So we welcome your questions.
Fantastic. So thank you so much for that great information, Sylvia. And we are going to get into this Q&A here. So our first Q&A is, since it is an audio book or audio ebook, why is there a need to expire the borrowed items? This is because Libby, we treat Libby, and Libby is treated as any physical library. So if we want to be able to loan out 30 items, we need to buy 30 licenses. So each time someone checks out a license, that item is unavailable to someone else. So just think of Libby as you would any other physical library, that if you walk in and that book is not currently on the shelf, you need to get on the hold list. So that's kind of how it works, which is why we need those items to be returned so that license becomes available. And this is to make it fair to the authors. We do honor the authors, intellectual property and their need to, make money off their work. So could you imagine if we bought one copy and just loan it unlimitedly? It would really it would take away from the author's ability. So we definitely want to honor their intellectual property. And so we want to be able to loan out 50, 60, 70 copies of that file. We do buy that equal number of licenses. So someone asking here is, how do I return an item early in Libby? So I did talk about returning it early to make that license available to everybody. And I do apologize, I did not do that. So I'll go ahead and share my screen again really quickly and kind of show you how to do that. So you should be able to see now here my loan page. And as you can see here, these are my loans. And if you go here on Manage My Loan, this is the item we just checked out together. Again, you could do the read with here, and here it tells you, see, it's due January 31st at 4:32 p.m. exactly. So if you're, if you're reading it at 4:30, if you log in at 4:33, that item is gone. They put it down submitted. But you see here, return early. So you go ahead and return early, and that item is now available for another customer to check out. So you want to go back to your shelf, or you could find your next read. We'll go back to my shelf. As you can see, it is now gone. My 6 is now 5, and we have the 5 remaining titles. So again, I do encourage everybody to check out items early, to return items early, especially those items that you waited for a long time, because other customers are equally waiting the same amount of time, and so we want to move that along. So do you need to sign out of Libby each time? No, so if you're using your personal device, you do not need to sign out of Libby. It's like any other app that you use on your phone. Once you log in once, you're in there and you don't need to log back out. Occasionally, if there is an update to the app, a major update, you might need to refresh your library card and your PIN, but that's very, very rarely that happens. I don't recall the last time I had to sign in again to my Libby application on my phone. And of course, like everything that we offer through LA County Library, this is 100% free. So the Libby app, the Hoopla app, it's free to you. So please, I encourage you to download both apps as you are able to enjoy those free of charge to everybody. So if it's asking you for a credit card number or something like that, chances are is you didn't download the official app. You should be able to download the official app by putting in Libby app. Or if you even put Overdrive, Libby app should pop up. As the Overdrive app is no longer available to download. If you do currently still use that Overdrive app, it will be sunsetting at the end of April. So starting in May, Libby will be the exclusive home of the Overdrive collection. So please, transition over, get used to it. So if you have any questions, you could let us know. Or you could go into one of your local libraries. Many of our librarians are very knowledgeable as we use these apps on a daily basis. I know I do. So if you have a question, you could always reach out to one of your local libraries. You could also email me. Again, I will send out a follow-up email tomorrow afternoon with all the links that we talked about, as well as an edited version of this presentation for you to review as you would like. And in there, you'll find my email address. So if you have questions, I'll be happy to answer those questions. Also be happy to set up a phone call with you, and I could guide you step by step on how to use the Libby and Hoopla. Okay, let's go here through other questions. Are books checked out on a Kindle device the same as viewing them on the Kindle app? Yes, yes. So Kindle does have apps for devices. I do have the Kindle app on my phone, and I also have a Kindle Paperwhite and a Kindle Fire. And so I'm able to read the title that I check on Libby, both on Libby, on the Kindle app, on my Fire, and on my Paperwhite. And I do use my Fire to read those comic books because they look great on the Fire, both when you're reading on Kindle and the Hoopla one. So they are amazing. And Kindle is just the most popular way of reading, and so that application has become very popular, and so that's why we kind of do that there. And so once again, if you do need your PIN, you could always call your local library. They'll verify your information and get you your PIN. You could also email reference services or connect with one of our instant librarians. So Anatobe, I do have a question for you. So if someone accidentally checks out something on Hoopla, can they quickly return it and not lose their credit?
No. So if you check something out, even if you don't use it, that still counts as your credit.
So
that's why it does have that pop-up window reminding, like letting you know, this is title, kind of like are you sure you want this? Reminder. So you do have a chance if you click borrow, it's not instantly, it's in your borrows, but it does have that pop up for you. But yes, once you click borrow a title, then yes, you've used your credit.
Now, if I have a few credits left over, like I noticed you had 5, next month, will you have 13 credits?
No, so those are reset. So yeah, I have 8 credits. Once again, February, I'll have 8 credits. So no, those don't transfer over.
Fantastic. Right. And what's great about Hoopla is it is always available, right? So you don't have to have those posts list. Hoopla does work differently on their licensing than Overdrive, but their collection is a lot smaller, which is one of the reasons why it's always available. If someone's asking if they need a digital card or do they need an electronic card to use Libby and Hoopla? Can you answer that, Anna Sylvia?
They need an electronic card to
Yeah,
use?
yeah. Do they need to get a digital card to get
No.
to use?
If you have a digital card, you can certainly use it, but if you have a regular card, then that works too. But if you don't have a physical card and you would like to sign in and start using these today, or sooner than going in, because it's rainy, so maybe you don't want to go to a library right now, then you can sign up for a digital library card. But if you already have a card, then you don't need to sign up for a separate one.
Now, does it matter if my card is very, very old? Like if I have one of those black cards that have been around for a very long time, did that still work, or do I need to update and get a new card?
As long as it's still active, then you're able to use that one. So if you haven't used it for a while, it's probably expired, but you definitely want to call your library, maybe check out to see if it's still active. But no, if you've been using it to check out books, then it's probably still good to go.
I see here, if I borrow a book using my desktop, can I copy it into my Fire? Yes, yes, you can. Yeah, so that's the great thing about Libby Overdrive. Anywhere you have that connection, you're able to transfer to. So you're able, and it actually even like kind of bookmarks it for you. So sometimes I start reading on my phone, and then I pick up on my computer, and then I pick up on my Paperwhite. So you're able to kind of jump around and just follow where you're at. So that's one of the great things about Libby. So we are coming up here at the top of the hour. And it looks like we've kind of gone through all the questions here. So I want to thank everybody for joining us today. I hope you've gotten some new information if you've never used Libby, an Overdrive, or if you're an Overdrive user and looking over to Libby. I hope that you found this informative. Our next presentation in this series will be on the 17th of 17th of January, and we'll be covering some of those learning applications like LinkedIn Learning. And then on the 31st, we'll be getting into detail on Hoopla and Canopy on the video side. If you have any additional questions or concerns, like I said, I will be sending out that follow-up email tomorrow afternoon. So if you have any other additional questions or concerns, you could follow up with me. I'll actually put it in the chat here just in case.
There is also a question about the presentation. So that, yes, that will be made available within the next day or so.
Yeah, when we send up that follow-up email, it will include all the links that you saw on the presentation, a copy of the presentation, as well as a link to the YouTube where this will be posted and available for you and others to view as well. So once again, I want to thank you all so much for joining this afternoon. So Anastasia, I want to say goodbye and we'll head off.
Yeah, just thanks everyone for your time. I hope that you got something out of this and that you enjoy your reading, and we'll see you for the next one.
Thank you so much. You have a great one. We'll see you all on the
Bye,
17th.
everyone.
Thank you.